like to stand in and lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance and invocation. Thank you for being receiving on the spot.
Dear Lord, dear Lord, we come today worshiping you, standing in the face of your magnificence. We thank you for all the very many blessings. The people that are here, the people that look at town government. I'm hopeful, or as excited as I am over the positive direction that we've been moving. We're excited. We come together and we ask that we continue to move in the right direction. We ask that you provide us with your guidance, with your wisdom, with your motivation to have other people come in and in a conciliatory environment work towards the betterment of our town. We thank you for all the many gifts that you've given all these people that are here to serve. We ask that you continue to watch over us, provide for us, and we thank you in your name. We ask all this in thy name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, sir.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Thank you. It's an honor.
We will now go on to agenda item 3, additions and deletions. Mayor Pro Tem.
I would like to remove number 8B, new business, board discussion regarding updating section 36-31. And also I'd like to add, excuse me, NCGS 143-38.163 attorney-client privilege and NCGS 143-318.186 personnel.
Any discussion? Excuse me. Second, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll now move on to the approval of the agenda. I need a motion for the approval of Alderwoman Chadwick.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Approval of consent items, the draft minutes of the February 12th, 2024 regular meeting. Alderman Palacios.
So moved.
Alderwoman Chadwick.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Motion
Carries. I don't believe we had anyone sign up for public comment, so we will move on to our first presentation, which is our only presentation, which is the Women's History Month proclamation. And again, that has been sent out in your agenda packet. Please take the time to read it and celebrate a woman in your life. You wouldn't be here without them, without us. Girl power, girl rule. We can say that because Women's History Month is coming up. All right, moving right along at a very rapid pace to our new business board discussion. We are on 8. Board discussion regarding our budget priorities. So, as everyone knows, it is budget season. And I wanted to make sure that the Board of Aldermen had time to sit down and discuss in the open the things that we wanted to see happen with the governing body budget, as well as any priorities that we want to set or any initiatives that we want to move forward with the town. So with that, I would like to open the floor up to you guys to discuss your budget priorities. I did have a few. I'm gonna find my best. So, I'd let you guys know, so I know we all did our homework, to discuss a few things. So, overall, I did want to talk about professional development. I did want to talk about our travel expenses, and this is for the governing body. This only affects us, not things that are out towards the town. This is our part of the budget. I wanted to talk about new office supplies and furniture. I wanted to discuss our membership dues and association dues, because we are all, involved in something outside of just the town. And so those memberships are critically important to our learning, our betterment, and the success of the town. the potential of either just discussing it for this budget cycle and preparing for the next budget cycle, but maybe some sort of special projects fund, that would include pilot programs or initiatives, outreach to the community, and some technology upgrades, and maintenance, because I know, there are far better ways for us to communicate, amongst ourselves and with the community. I did want to, there were some other budget priorities that I did want to discuss, including strategic planning sessions, and it's being added to our budget, so we know possibly twice a year, we are going to dedicate at least a weekend to strategic planning, not just for goal setting, but also for economic development. That was something I brought to the board a couple of months ago, was to pursue strategic planning specifically for economic development, because we're not set to add that position back to our approved positions just yet. So us kind of taking the initiative to still continue moving towards economic development, although that position isn't, we don't have it yet. Something I know we've all talked about before was making sure we did our pay study, budget for our pay studies, one-off pay studies. But that's going into the other part. So let's start with first, our governing body, budgets, goals. Anything we want, is there anybody who wants to add to that? Mayor Pro Tem, followed by Alderman Randall.
Thank you. So one of the things, I think we need some type of shirts or jackets, so that when we sometimes go somewhere together, we can have a unified look. I see it all the time. It looks really nice. I too, I'm big on professional development. I would even like to maybe even have a separate line item for UNC School of Government, because they do such a good job. I don't think I would be as good a leader as I am without them. A dais, a new dais, and with new microphones and
Can y'all hear?
a new dais with new microphones and just, just a little, it's tearing up people's clothes. And also, in our positions, we're asked to attend events quite a bit, and there is a cost to attend. And I feel like there should be something in there for the budget, in the budget. There used to be, where we would not have to come out of our own pockets to attend those events.
And when you say events, you mean like the MLK brunch or functions like that, where you see other municipalities, they have tables.
Yeah.
But just so you know, when we go to events, we usually pay for it ourselves.
Yeah.
But I mean, representation matters, and so your board members understand that, and we want to be there too. But again, I don't think outside of training, I've had the town pay for any events. Mm-hmm. we pay for those out of pocket, and I have to be in a lot of places. Mm-hmm. So, Alderman Leffler? I'm sorry, yeah, Alderman Leffler, thank you.
Mayor, thank you. One of the things that you touched on was organizations. As the town of Spring Lake grows, so does our reputation. And part of that is being involved with other county, city, local municipalities, and being a part of that. So yes, we do need to extend our reach into other municipalities, Hope Mills, Fayetteville, different communities like that, but also with our committees. We've got several members of the aldermen that are on the committees. And as we look with the Military Veterans Affairs, we do a plaque and different things for the honoree. We also give gifts, but I'm going to steal something from Alderman Palacios with the appearance committee. Some sort of budget of a small amount should be established so that we work on improving our town and our outreach in the communities.
Absolutely.
Those are the two things that I really had for us.
Definitely. I do want to reiterate furniture too. As you just heard, I think Adrian was complaining before we even started. We leave here with splinters because under the days it's really old, the wood is peeling, and it will definitely snag your thighs. And the chairs that you're sitting in is probably older than everybody in the room. And so is my office furniture, the carpet. And so we really want to do some modifications to our boardroom to make it more comfortable for you guys, to get this dated, I'm just gonna say dated, carpet out. And give you some more comfortable seats to sit on. My desk in my office has no drawer handles. The desk has been there since, the 70s. So priorities, we have to prioritize, and furniture just wasn't on the top of our list. Major thank you to our interim town manager for replacing our chairs. Those chairs were notorious for shedding and other bad things, but these are our small things that we do need to include in our budget. Did anybody else have some other things to add about our governing body budget? Alderman Palacios?
Yeah, just, you already hit on it, but the travel and training is a big one. You want your board, your governing body to be informed, and I think we all relish in the training aspect of it, even if it's repetitive sometimes, but it's important that we learn, because learners are leaders, learners are growers, so, all right, thank you.
And just so you know, what we've worked with in the past was when we first came in, there was $5,000 set aside for the entire board. That's less than $1,000 per person because there's 6 of us. The budget was increased last year. I believe we had $1,500 apiece, which still is a very, very nominal budget when our trainings, one training alone, and just the ticket is $500. That's not including Alderman Cooper said $695. 500 plus $600, $700 for the ticket. That doesn't include your travel. That doesn't include meals. And so that $1,500 is gone very, very quickly. And so we wanted to do what our clerk, Ms. Carly Autry, has done, and she's gone through and she's itemized the different events that we've attended throughout the year, each of the board members, so that we can now appropriately budget for the events that we plan to go to. Again, this is all beneficial to the town. You can't sum it up any better than learners are leaders. And so we want to continue that. Mr. Williams?
Yes, ma'am. One of the things that I will need you guys to do, since we're staying on this budget, I want people to understand too, that you're going to, what I need for you to do, you with Carly, whoever, find out exactly what the cost is going to be, the things that you want to go to, or the furniture that you want, or the things, everything that you want, we're gonna have to have a line for this, okay? Because I don't want it to be just like the rest of the town, won't be able to do that, so you guys would do that to us either, so, I mean, for the shirts and all that stuff, find out what they do, the jackets, well, all that stuff is, we have to put it in a line item for that. So just make sure you're getting everything that covers everybody, and then we can put that in a line, get Carly to look them up, find out how much it's gonna cost. You'll probably have to add a little bit to it if you're gonna do it this early, because the increase of pay might, add 10% or whatever to it. But just make sure that we're doing all that. Some of the tech stuff is, we should already have some of the money in it, we already have some of the stuff for that, but we're going to do that. But all your training that you want to go to, make sure that we're putting it all in there. That covers everything for you guys. And that's very important that we get those numbers down, and then we'll increase them next year or whatever, but just make sure that we have all this down to a science so that we know exactly what it is, and we can present it to the public and they understand exactly what we're doing.
Okay, so what you just said is if we ask for it, we need to back it up.
That's correct.
If you ask
That's everything that we've done last year. I mean, you guys was in there.
Yeah.
If you wanted it, you had to prove that you needed it and you wanted it. So, I mean, it's gonna be the same thing this year. Last year, we kind of looked over you guys because you wanted to fix everybody else. But I agree with you 100%. You kind of took it to the chin and did things for everybody else, but not really took it on yourself. So I think 100% you guys need to do this, get out, do some more training, get your desk, you can open some drawers there and there. So just things like that, I think is very important, that we get stuff done. Just make sure we get all the numbers that we need. Don't forget anything, because you won't be on there,
Too easy.
okay?
That means all
That was
the
all. I
Cooper's
wanna make sure.
responsible for price changing at days. How do you do that?
That's easy.
That's all I do.
That's easy.
So, are we good for the governing body budget? Yes. Anything else that you wanted to add for governing body? Okay, awesome. So, for the overall budget, things we know we have to do. We know we have to do the pay study. We know we're adding an HR position. Those things are, hopefully, we can get it before the LGC soon. So if we can get that before, and get that appropriation done, especially for the HR position, we're trying to get that done pre-budget.
One more thing about the pay study, these positions up here are in the pay study also. So,
We like what we do, we didn't ask for it. Cause they include us, seriously, that's one thing we have not heard. This is our third budget cycle, and as much as this board has gone through, I haven't heard them say, give me a pay raise. They're doing it because they care, and we know how much we make. Y'all know how much we make.
I did talk to my wife about that.
she said something.
But seriously, that's huge. You have a board, that's doing this because they care and not for the paycheck. Because if they were, I'd have to talk to them about their decisions. Okay, so again, pay study, HR position. I really, really, really would like to see us do something. We've had several organizations come to us for sponsorships. And we do offset whatever costs with our police and fire. That's pretty much as far as we go with the sponsorship. But oftentimes organizations need funding, and we don't have any money or any way to help them. And so if we set aside special projects or sponsorships fund or create a line item for that, so that we can, not just pour into our community with them coming to our podium, but we can actually pour into them financially as well. So I did go by our legislative priorities. I try to keep these with me all the time so that I'm making sure that we stay on target. And so there were some things that I wanted to talk about based on what our legislative priorities are. So, First Friday on Main was one of them. And y'all know this has been my baby since we started. We had it in outreach, and I'm sorry, I'm going by my notes and I'm mixing them. No, legislative is not specifically on there as a legislative priority, but community outreach and engagement absolutely is. So, where was I?
First one.
Thank you. First Friday on May has been one of my babies. And so I would like if you can find the funds to, well, actually, we've actually set it up to where it kind of funds itself. And so I'd spoken to Ms. Sylvia in finance, because this will be kind of the replacement for spring cleaning. Last year was its test run with the chamber, so thank you to the Greater Sand Hills Chamber of Commerce for taking that on and partnering with us so that we could pilot that program. But I would like for it to become a town-led initiative to where we're budgeting at least $15,000 for the months of July through November, potentially November if the weather permits. But while we have money budgeted, we're also soliciting sponsorships. And so Ms. Sylvia said we can create a revenue line item for that to bring in sponsorship dollars to cover the event. However, we would also have funding there should we need to use it to fill out the rest of the program. So then again, this will be a once a month community outreach free program for the community, basically what you guys seen all last year with First Friday on May. So again, I don't think it'll be a big, well, again, I talked to Ms. Sylvia, she said it's perfectly fine for us to be able to offset the cost with taking in sponsorships, as long as we create another line item for it. So again, hopefully if we keep this going correctly, it'll be at no cost to the town, and that's the ultimate goal. Mayor Pro Tem?
So you said 15,000 is that per month?
No, total.
Okay, that's what I
Yeah, for the whole, for that. For the month of July to,
Like 5 months.
yeah, potentially, if weather permitting, November, but definitely from July to October.
Because what I was trying to point out to you is there may be monies, interesting with that, for, for that type of event.
So, and that will go into the sponsorships, but, with events, and that being my background, sponsorships can fluctuate. And especially with this being a new, fairly new initiative, we have to build up that reputation to bring in sponsorship dollars. So just to make sure that the town is still backing. We'll also have vendors and, food trucks. All of that will still go to the revenue to support, this event, so that we're hopefully not using any money from the budget. Any questions on
Lots, later.
that? I mean, just to make sure that, I wanna put this out there just in case you're like, absolutely not, I don't wanna spend any money on that, and I don't think the town should spend any money on that. So that's pretty much what this is. If you guys are okay with it, we can work out the details, once we go into budget workshops. And we'll leave all those pretty things to the people who are way smarter than us. But yeah, I just wanna make sure that you guys know what we're doing, or the initiatives that I would like to see happen. Alderman Leffert?
And I'm not giving my consent for that tonight, but for purposes of discussion on that, I'm not opposed to having it, but I need a lot more details
Okay.
before I give a thumbs up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't want to see all the numbers, once we get into that part of it, if it gets approved. Because we still have the extra level of approval with the LGC, because we can say we want all these things and they can slash them all and say no. So there's always that next level of oversight. Did anybody have other initiatives that you want to talk about? Alderman Cooper?
Yes, I would like for us to actually establish a capital improvement plan this year. We've not had one for, quite some time. And, if we want to continue to grow, we need to discuss that. I also, want to reestablish the 401K for the employees, if we have the funds for that. I'd also like to discuss where is the full-time inspector? Do we need to do that position or?
No, we have a position, it's correct, we just have to, we have to just find funds for it, but, I've been talking to them about a little bit, so we're going to bring them in for an interview and see where we're at and see where we find funds for.
And not sure what type of money is, needed, but I would like to see if we can budget to bring planning into Spring Lake, because we are getting really busy, a lot of odds, so I would love to see if we have the funds to get that. So those are my priorities.
Anyone else to contribute? Alderman Palacios?
All right, so I've got a couple of items, and I think some of this may fall under stormwater and sustainability, but I did want us to, well, the easy one is pay raises for our town staff. I want to make sure COLA is continued, and we've been talking about the pay study itself, but in the meantime, we want to make sure our staff are taken care of. And then I want a budget for public art. So, you know, we have our first mural up right now, and we have 2 very solid projects likely to be completed this year, and 2 more murals I need. And, not ready to make an announcement yet, but feeling pretty hopeful on that, and pretty excited about it. And we have 2 of our appearance committee members here tonight, so we're appreciative of those citizen volunteers and business owners that make up that committee. But again, not allowed to share any details tonight.
Teaser.
But, so anyway, I want a budget line item for public art. We had, the mural that we have out there, we set a budget item. I know the cost was $13,500, but I think our budget item was $17,000. Does that sound right to you? I think it was $17,000 that we did just to be safe.
That was 50.
Was it 15?
That's it.
Yeah, that was 15.
It may be, I'm sorry. So anyway, so 8,000 of that 13,000 that was spent was, given, reimbursed back to the town through the Fayetteville Arts Council. So as we continue to build up public art and complete our, the Spring Lake Arts Trail, wanna make sure we have funding there so that if we do get sponsorships as those come in, that we're able to reimburse those. So as far as the cost, I don't have that. At minimum, you know, I'd like a budget of 10 to 15, but again, that's, that'll come out later once we figure out some numbers. I want to start back our Adopt a Street program. So that, the majority of that would be refunded, reimbursed back to the town through sponsorships. And the cost for these is $150. But that includes a permanent fixed sign, and then a sign that says Spring Lake Adopt a Street Program, and then under that, a separate sign that says who the sponsor is of that street. And that sign is, that second sign would be removable, but I would wanna only charge $100 even to cover the cost of the signage and grabbers for the sponsors themselves. So out of that, $50 would be a hit to the town if somebody did do that, and then $100 would be reimbursed back to the town for that program. So anyway, we have old signs out throughout the town right now, and all of those need to come up anyways, because I don't think that anybody is completing those Adopt a Streets assignments. And then on a yearly basis, they can renew for free. So anybody that wants to renew yearly, they can confirm their commitment, and we can go about it that way. And we do have the cost associated with that, so 150 is strong. Then the last item is are we gonna get to the water? We're gonna talk about that, or just Sarah? Okay, so when we did the budget last year, we talked about a water study. So is there any development on that? So I personally am not in favor of raising any water rates until that study is complete. Now, obviously, PWC in Harnett County, they're gonna still raise their rates, right? That's the assumption. I'm sure it happens every year, and I'm sure that's an expense we can come to expect. But I'm not confident, board, in raising the rates until we get the water study complete and until I can understand our water charges in a way that's easy to explain. This is the #1 complaint in this town. And while we may not, I shouldn't say this, but we may not raise our tax rate, we're probably gonna raise our water rate. I don't wanna do that until those 2 things are done. We understand the process for charges for our water department and can easily explain that to our customers or citizens. And 2, we have that water study complete. So that may or may not run, I don't know how long that takes. But anyway, those are my items, so thank you, Mayor.
I just want you guys to know, did y'all feel that from the board? Because we pay those same water bills. We see those same fluctuations. We are having issues understanding, so we are doing our, as you heard, our town manager say, we're in the process of doing that study right now. We want to help ease this burden on us as in us, the town of Spring Lake. So just know that we hear and share your complaints too. So that's why we're trying to go ahead and get them fixed. Alderwoman Chadwick.
I'm glad that Raul mentioned that because that was on my list of priorities. Because I have been getting a lot of citizens approach me about the water bill. I've also had citizens approach me about transportation. We still have a lot of citizens that live in Spring Lake that do not have transportation. And so we definitely want to talk about maybe trying to reinstate our transportation because we need citizens to maintain jobs, keep the crowd down. So we definitely probably something that we can look at, another thing that citizens have come to me about is something for the children to do. Maybe through economic development, once we get that, maybe we can look at maybe trying to get some businesses to come, maybe put a bowling alley. I mean, this is just some ideas, but we would love to see that here in Spring Lake. We would love to see something for the kids here to do.
So, to your first point about transportation and with Mayor Pro Tem talking about the CIP, something I've been working on for the past couple of months, is doing a CIP, and this is nowhere near completion because this is my first time ever trying to attempt it, so I wanted to kind of, get a feel of it before we venture into it officially. But I would love to see a comprehensive transportation plan that not only takes care of the routes here in town, but branches us to Fort Liberty, to a centralized hub in Fayetteville. That way we can get to the fast station and disperse the way we had before, but also to Hope Mills. I know Hope Mills is working on a transportation plan right now. Fort Liberty is also in talks with FAST about a transportation plan. However, this is going to be an extensive process. It's not something that we're going to see happen overnight. However, what we can do for a year or so is try to find some sort of solution, be it a partnership with Uber or Lyft, or bringing back something like Spring Lake Transit, something we had before as a temporary solution as we work on a more permanent solution to our transportation issue. So I just wanted to let you guys know some things that I've been working on in my private time, was to try to see how we can tackle this transportation plan, because we have to. We have no intercommunity transportation. We do have the county services, but again, you're calling a number, waiting for somebody, setting an appointment. It's a pretty labor-intensive process to try to get a ride. And so if we could put our thinking caps on and try to find some creative ways for us to solve this in the interim before we can tackle this on a major level, because it's actually a really big project. So we brought it up to FAMPO. FAMPO knows. They're even talks, of some sort of regionalized transportation that's going to include us too. So just put your thinking cap on and put that out there. But if we can find something in the meantime, I think that's a great idea.
And we've been trying to get maybe dispatch, a 911 dispatch out here in Spring Lake, because you do have to go through the county to get out here.
Do you have any input on that part?
We used to have it.
That would be, that's a cost, that's a major cost. PD had it one time, it's a major overcome, and it'd be, right now, we're nowhere near that.
Gotcha.
Mayor Brogan?
Thank you. When she mentioned that, I do think we need to work with the county to get, aid to take care of the pockets in this community, because the county does not come out here. They don't do any, and I don't care if they hear this or somebody tells them, they don't come out here and do code enforcement. There are lots that are in the pockets that are just full of trash. They aren't part of Spring Lake proper. So, I think, and then there are also, to cut down on response time, to do with the police, like we do with, fire, where we have an agreement that they will respond, because the response time by the sheriff was horribly understaffed is pretty expensive. So I think those are some things that we could do, to make things better for the people in our influence area, in the budget, in this budget.
Absolutely. Are you on? Is my line on? Yes, ma'am. No, I didn't know if you had a question. That's it, that is, you know, we need a new day. Y'all don't understand how the struggle is back here on this side, it's totally different. What are your other budget priorities? Alderman Lackman.
So Mayor, this one's actually for the town manager here, that as we look, our street sweeper is out and is working, and is it something that we need to look at a replacement? I've been told that it's kind of on its last leg.
It is. I don't think that thing's ever worked as hard as it has in the last year. But it is, something that we need to look into. I don't know if it's something that we go to almost like another lease thing, try to figure out how the best thing is to do. That's some of the ideas that me and Steve sit down, we've talked, and then trying to figure out the best, route to go with that, because they're not cheap. They're pretty expensive. So that's another thing that we need to put into play. And, but I'm hoping, a talk with Deborah Mack will help us with that, because it's on our streets. Maybe some of the Al bill money might be able to help with some of that. So I've got some things, we're in the fire for that, we'll see which way it goes.
And then also during the fall time, whether we purchase a vacuum truck to clean up the leaves, or if we rent one for a 1 month period to clean up the roads, get those leaves and stuff that's off of our roads. And also at Christmas time with a chipper for people who have Christmas trees that are looking to get rid of those trees. They can be chipped, it can be mulched. That's one of the things when Steve was up here talking to us last time, said that our organic waste is huge, and this is a way that we can reutilize that, not only for our town property, you could maybe implement this as if people wanted some of that mulch to use in their own yards.
Yeah,
Something we
sure.
we can look at. And Mayor, another thing, we had an app, it was a Spring Lake app that we had several years ago. It sucked, it was terrible. It was non-functional. But I would like to see something that says something so that Mr. Williams can do something about it. And so that could be something very simple, where you take a picture, it gives you a GIS location, it goes to the department head, goes to the town manager, so that they could put the employees out there and work more efficiently to clean up our town. So those are some of the things that I'm looking at that I'd like to see implemented in the town.
Anything else? Did you know we've got 1,000 other things that we want to see happen, but we're trying to be fiscally responsible and conservative and make sure that we move at the same pace as government, which is as slow as you can possibly go. Seriously, that was probably the best advice I got when taking office, was to go slow, take your time so you don't burn out. Because there's a lot of things that need to be done within this town. And so there will be upcoming budget work sessions or budget workshops where we'll be able to talk to the community too. We want you to tell us some things that you want to see happen. So we can, base our priorities on what you guys want to see happen. And please participate in when we have our budget hearings. Come out, we want to hear the citizens, because this is our money that we're spending. So have a say. You would have a say if someone was managing the bills for your house. Have a say in the people who are managing the bills for the community that you live in. So if there are no more input on the topics of budgets, I know we kind of threw out 1,000 things at once, so there's more of this to come. Mr. Williams, we'll be putting out a budget calendar. So there'll be some internal meetings that are done with our department heads and staff, so that they can communicate their needs to the manager, You've heard the majority of our needs that we wanted to communicate to the manager, and now we throw it all on him. So Jason's real heavy right now to manage that, to put that budget together, and take it to the LGC for final approval. And he'll bring us back some information on, you guys are crazy for asking for this, or he's gonna say, yay, you got it all. That's what I'm hoping for the latter.
I didn't say that.
Shoot me down that one.
Yeah, I
Don't
want,
get
it's
your-
easier to come back and say, yeah, you're right.
Don't get your hopes up.
Yeah, but you chew your own.
All right, so we will move on to agenda item B, 8B, which is mayor's report, which is really short. Lunch with the mayor will be on the 27th, that will be Tuesday at 12 p.m. Please come and have lunch with me, talk to me. This is your time to talk to me informally. Patrick takes advantage of it every time, and I love him for it. So come out and we just sit and we talk. It's very informal, it's a lot of fun, but it's a great way for me to engage with the community, and really hear you on a personal level, so please come out. I do want to thank the Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated sorority for hosting From the Beat of the Drum at Spring Lake Middle this past weekend. It was a jam-packed house, beautiful event to celebrate Black History Month. I also want to remind you of, we are right now in a voting or an election cycle. Directly across the street is an early voting site. The Board of Elections, myself, Alderwoman Cooper, Mayor Pro Tem Cooper, rallied to try to get this over here for us. They did not want to give Spring Lake an early voting site, but members from the state board, from the Cumberland County Board of Elections, they had our back. They went to Raleigh. They were willing to go to Raleigh to fight for us to get this site, and we got it. So please take advantage of it. And early vote here. Encourage your family, your friends who live in Cumberland County to come out to Spring Lake and use our early voting site. So early voting dates are, it started on the 15th. It ends on Saturday, March 2nd. And then your primaries, which your election site is right here across the street. Your primaries are March 5th. Which only leads us into the general election. So early voting for general election starts October 17th, and it ends on November 2nd to lead us into our general election day, which is November 5th. So these are dates to please stay aware of, and please use the Spring Lake Rec Center's early voting site as your poll of choice. And that is all. I did want to do one more thing. As you all, I'm not sure if you all are aware, but we had a special meeting last week with the LGC. It is publicized on YouTube, but there are a few clarifications that I would like to make and things that I want to emphasize. There was an exceptionally large amount of debt that was talked about, but I wanted to make sure that we go on record stating that a majority of that debt was from the year of 2020. $758,000 of that $1.17 million of debt. $750,000 of that was assumed in 2020. Another $371,000 of that was assumed in 2021. In 2022, there was only a $25,000 increase into that old debt. So just wanted to make sure that we knew this was not new debt that the town had taken on. This was not new accounts that had just become, outdated and past due. This is very, very old debt that we are now trying to do our best to recoup. But under this administration, under the guidance of the LGC, we had only accumulated about $25,000 worth of new debt regarding that. So I just wanted to make sure I put that out there, just to provide a bit of clarity on the meeting that we had last Thursday with the LGC. And that is all I have. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you. As the mayor said, this is early voting. And we worked hard to get an early voting site. It wasn't just because of the number of voters that would be there, but it was for equity. Because we have to travel the furthest to early vote. So please, take advantage of it. Go vote, tell your friends. If you wanna make some phone calls, I have a phone bank link. They are all, it is not based on party, it's nonpartisan, but it's a phone bank link of people in this area who can vote in Spring Lake. If anybody would like to make calls, just let me know. But we need to get these numbers up. Statewide, the numbers are low. You know, what I'm hearing is that early voting will be down to a week at this rate, because the numbers are low across the board. So please, go vote. Call your friends, go vote. Tell them go vote. Go pick them up. You know, we got Miss Juanita working diligently, calling people. I know for a fact, because I've been trying to help her get numbers. So please, tell your friends. It's important. And, you know, if you're not voting, what are you doing? And, I mean, you wanna come to me, you know, I'm gonna tell you, I have NCSBA on my phone, and I'm gonna find out if you voted. And if you didn't, I'm just gonna say, okay. And, I mean, really, but other than that, also, I think, and also, you have to have an ID to go vote. And, I can give you a link to let you know what is eligible for your ID. You can also go to ncsbe.gov, and it can tell you what IDs are valid. I also want to thank everybody who participated in our food distribution at my church Saturday. We got in, we got out, and we had a good time helping out the community. So, Alderman Thompson, of course, was there, and we had a good time. Oh, Mr. Castleberry helped us out. I met him when he went he was at the polls. So, you know, we had a good time. So thank you, everybody. And that's all I have. Please go vote.
Alderman Thompson.
The only thing I have is Cops in Conversation will be this Thursday over at the Spring Lake Senior Center at 6 p.m. So if you would like, come out, invite a friend. That's all I have.
about to say Marriott.
Marriott. Oh, exactly.
5:30, 6:30.
One more time?
5:30 to 6:30.
5:30 to 6:30, correction at the Marriott.
Yes, ma'am.
Here in Spring Lake.
They fancy?
Yeah,
They fancy.
Mayor, thank you. I got 5 things, but I'm gonna defer one of them to Mr. Williams. So,
Okay.
he will get to give us the update on Veterans Park. But tomorrow night is the Military Veterans Affairs Advisory Committee, 6:30 right here in this room. So, if you would like to see what's going on in the Military Veterans Affairs Committee, come on out here. We do have our organizations, we've got 4 organizations, we've got members at large, and we've got the general public that can come out here. Come out, voice your opinion, listen, see what's going on, but come on out to it. Also, this coming Saturday, we've got our cleanup again, 8 o'clock. And so, as our cleanups have worked, 8 o'clock, we meet over at Southwinds Plaza. We've been able to attack the town of Spring Lake in multiple areas. Alderman Palacios and Alderwoman Thompson, we all kind of take different areas so we can attack different parts. Lieutenant Sutton, him and his daughter came out. She needed some volunteer hours, so she came out last time and volunteered.
I'm gonna check it out again. I'll check it out again.
So we got a lot of the town cleaned up through there, so, that's good. But this Saturday, 8 a.m., cleanup of Spring Lake. We'd love to have individuals, businesses, churches, challenges, doing all kinds of good things to make our town beautiful. Also, we got the banner program. And so for our first 5 people that are out there, they can have a copy of the veterans, program that we've got going, the banner program. So the first 5 people can come up and get one. It's $188. It'll be flown from Memorial Day through Veterans Day on Main Street. So these are nice big old banners. We've shown those before, but at this point, we've pulled the trigger with the town. We've got it through LGC. Ms. Hickman will be here to take your money over to the inspections department. $188, fill out the form, have a nice digital picture that you can include. This will get sent off, get made, brought back, and will be hung up on our streets of Spring Lake. So looking forward to that. I'm excited. I've got everything together for my aspect of there. Also, as we start to come into spring season, code enforcement. So we've got code enforcement that we've got working for the town, but the implementation of action, the abatement, is something that we're looking forward to ensure that our town continues to look better, so that we are proud to be a gateway to Fort Liberty. So on that, that's all I got for you, Mayor.
I have got to, I look at you and I want to say, Mayor Pro Tem, it's only been about a month or two. Alderman Chapman.
Okay, so I just have two things. Again, I'm still, in support of Mr. Finch Boxing Club. He's hosting his yearly raffle. It's an F-150. You still have time to get a ticket. The drawing is gonna be May 4th, and this is in support of, there's a lot of, programs and initiatives with children in Spring Lake. And he's gonna be taking them on a trip. It will also be to rent 2 vans. So if you're interested, the tickets are $20, and I'm still taking, anybody that wants to support. I have another, fundraiser, is for the, Phi Beta Sigma Boys Mentoring Program. They're having a plate sale on March the 2nd. And the tickets are $10 for chicken and fish. If you want a combination plate, 15, combination plate and a raffle, $20. And this is goes back to support the boys in our community. Matter of fact, my son is a part of this mentoring program, very phenomenal program. And if you're interested in the tickets, let me know. Thank you.
All right. Alderman Palacios. All right, thank you. So, the appearance committee, met this past month, and our next meeting is March 13th at 4 p.m. at the rec center across the street. We do have at least one vacancy at this time for anyone interested in joining. Like I said, there's a lot of exciting stuff going on with the appearance committee, and we have public art murals coming to town, and we also are trying to get funding for public art sculpture on Main Street at the circle there at the end. So we're working on approval first for that, but the sculptures that I said, because I know when we talk about sculptures, what are we talking about here? We were given a presentation of possible submissions. These things are beautiful, and I was shocked because I didn't think that they were this nice, but anyway, we'll share that the closer we get to it so we can all collaborate and get on that. But you'll be excited, trust me, because I never thought I'd care so much about art before I took this oath, but it's been pretty interesting, and I'm learning a lot. So anyway, we also have had code enforcement come to our last meeting, and I believe, are they on the next agenda? Do we know that yet? They are, great. So Mr. Derek Mabe came and presented to us, and we talked to him about it to collaborate about, where are areas of weaknesses, how can we help? Dr. D was great at kind of leading that conversation. So, and then we also have our Earth Day cleanup, which is the town's official sponsored Spring Lake cleanup. That is on Earth Day, which is the 20th of April. It's a Saturday, and at 9 a.m. we'll all meet at the rec center, and then we'll disperse, and we're gonna have assigned locations that people can go and help clean up the town. So we have our cleanup this Saturday with Spring Lake Matters, and then on Earth Day in April, we'll have that. So that's it. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
Voice clear back up. To finish up your thing, we have moved forward with that. We are actually, the first stage of the Veterans Park is going to be put the grass down and to put the lighting, get the lighting fixed, and then to sprinkle it so it stays wet and nice and everything. That's the 3 things we're working on now. Lynn's been out a little bit with her daughter, hope she gets feeling better. And then we have Steve, so I got both of them working on finishing that up, because I think there was a little confusion with the LGC about who was doing what. So I think we've got that straightened out, so you should start seeing some activity going back up there again. So that would be good. Soccer, you talked about the circle up there. Has anybody else seen that lately? That looked, I came through there today, it looks so good.
It does.
It looks like almost astroturf down there. It looked really, really nice.
They did it last week.
Did they? No, it's just really good job.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you just gotta go by there and just look at it, because it really looks nice. And we'll get that statue of him standing up there. It really gonna look nice.
Will it be singing?
Yeah.
Microphone.
But no, other than that, I don't really have anything, just thanks for the crews and what they do. You know, one something I'll never do, I'll never thank the fire department. You know, and it's sad, because I know what they do, I see what they do, but I never thank them. But what they've done for, voting over there is now they light that area up for, people have to pull up and everything, and so they've done a good job of that, so thank you for that, guys, and keep up the good work.
I had nothing other than, town manager stole my joke. I was gonna say I had it on good information that Alderman Palacios was the inspiration for the sculpture. He apparently had the same joke. That's a good one.
Great lines.
But no, all's quiet on my front.
Awesome. I love quiet on this.
Yes.
Awesome. We will now move on to agenda item whenever I find the sticky. I'm now entertaining a motion to go into closed session pursuant to NCGS 143-318A6 personnel. A3 attorney-client privilege and NCGS 143-318-11A6 personnel. Mayor Pro Tem,
No, she was
I don't know, they turned all the lights on.
so moved.
We're done.
I said,
Who?
sign me, and I said.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All right, we are now going into closed session. Thank you all for coming out.
Oh, no, we're not doing it.
We gotta come out of closed session.
Okay.
Now, entertain a motion to come out of closed session. Alderwoman Thompson,
I'll make a motion that we come out of closed session.
Mayor Pro Tem,